If I'm thinking correctly, that unmutes me, as far as I know. Mic check, 1, 2. Mic chat. Wow, I just got welcome to my own live chat. How nice. How nice. All right. Let's cut this crazy shit off and get somewhere. Let's see what's happening. 3-second delay. That's as low latency as business internet can get you. That's lame as hell. Oh, never mind the monkey suit in the wreck. I was due to go into my one job, and 12 minutes till got notified that I could take the day off due to slow business. So there we have it. Who is that? First time chat. Audio good? Oh, good. Let me find my mouse here so I can... There we go. Change it up a little. And it should have... There we go. Added you, Mr. Chris. All right, audio's good. Good to know. So I got... Let me tell you, you know part of the story. Chris, should I share this story? Is that boring internet? Let's do roll call anyhow. See if any of these devices... there we go. Make sure these devices want to work today. Do we share this story, though? Or don't we? And hopefully we don't lag out. Let me check my stats for a minute. All right, CPU looks good. Doesn't look like we're dropping frames. Graphics card is probably not loving its life right now. But we're also not using OBS to stream. We're just sending it out to a streaming service. Anyhow, did we share the story on this particular motherboard that we got on the bench here? All right, I guess we'll do a quick history, if that makes sense. Okay, so my accountant's computer came in. Well, two of them came in to be exact. One needed a fan. The CPU fan had died. And then we got that one back out. And then there was this one. And this is actually the one. This is actually the board from last stream that I was trying to jump. And ends up this board was dead. Don't know. And didn't try it in practice. But I think it ties into... Well... Actually, no. It don't even have the component that we weren't seeing last time. Did some thermal imaging of the board. Smooth me, but a little blurry my end. Main cam. Cleaner image on overhead. What? This camera? That one? Yeah. We'll give it the 3 seconds to catch up. That is what I see. My shaky microscope cam. Regardless. Anyhow, accountant's computer come in. This is the board that I was trying to jumpstart last stream, I believe, with a power supply, and it would not jump. When we get finished with this one, we will we'll jump it the same way, just for proof of concept that it does work. Regardless, anyhow, this board, and let's go over the finer details. This is board can be found online. Side view cam. Oh, this one? Yeah, that's always blurry. Who cares about that? You want to look at a clown, you go to the circus, you know? But regardless, this board can be found by searching for, I gotta find a pointer in this mess. Everything's a wreck here. I've been out on the road too much and just too many jobs, to be honest, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So you would find this board by looking up HP Baker Revision A M11. And then the board that we have here is a BakerMS Revision A M11. So essentially they're the same board, but they're not. Let's take and zoom back out so we can look at some of the finer details from far away. We'll even blur that out, or take that light off so we can cut down some of the glare. So looking at the back side of the board, I've already been partway through this. So this was the audio jack that was on this board. And then I pulled the one with the speakers, line, and microphone from my customer's old board. So board on the left is my accountant's old motherboard. Board on the right is the new motherboard. So I had to pull the audio jack from this board and put it in here. And all that essentially was just an additional row of pins. So you can see the 4 ground legs and then hopefully 2 rows of pins. Pulled it out, put that one on, and then we have the addition of a serial port as well. So that's a thing, right? You do want to look at clowns. All right, you made it to the right circus, let me tell you. And serial port. So do I need to desolder the serial port and the components that are with it? No, because there's a knockout in the back of the case. Also, depending on which case you have, like say there are some of these boards that come with the serial ports like double stacked with the VGA port. Instead of this location, they'll double stack it over here. That isn't the case I have. Actually have the HP case for the original board that has the knockout in this position. So we're good on the serial port. We'll just knock it out of the case. And then finally, probably the biggest problem that we're facing is this board, the customer's board. It used to have a USB Type-C port here. That port is now loosely soldered in here. We need to reheat it to get all the pins attached. And then all the circuitry that goes with it. So let's blip on down to the microscope and take a look at this. Let's flip on over. So there's your USB-C port, and you can see how far I've made it from pulling components, and it was basically all these. So we had 3 like diode arrays, some capacitors, some 0-ohm resistors. Or I don't, what were these? These 2 were resistors. Up right there were resistors. And let me try and get this in more better focus. And we just had all kind of crap. So 0-ohm, the diode was there, a filter was here, more 0-ohm, I believe, some capacitors, and then it went on up the line here and here. And then after the diode, just caps really, and I think a thermistor was here, and I'm just working my way. So I still have all of this stuff here to move over to the new board. As you can see, if you look at the main section here, okay, what is missing there is basically what we've got put on here. And you can see we still have a ways to go. And that's what we're going to do. Oh, I absolutely hate this work. The dodgy little back and forth. But this is where this type of stuff is where you can get practice in. Now, back to the main point of the story. Let's flip to the overhead cam again, get this microscope light out of the way. Get our iron on. Get back to the main focus here for a moment. The customer's board, to replace it, this is a best case scenario. This is a $250 board. And if you look at it, we don't have the fancy white outline on this one. The location, it seems that they have the location of a few things has moved, where on the old board, these through holes for something that looks like a 4-pin or something or other. Ooh, that's not good. I'm gonna have to fix this melted part. We'll just put a whole new socket on. I bumped it with my iron right here. Anyhow, a few things are different overall other than the USB-C. These additional 4 holes here are to the opposite side of this 12-volt power, the EPS connector. On this one, we have some type of LDO, low voltage regulator. And Chris and I were talking, if anybody else is here, that this might have been a problem on the other board, but that component, that BIOS looking chip thing, low voltage or voltage regulator, whatever it is, fan control, it's some shit. I didn't look it up yet. Not even present on the other board, so that's not an issue. Guessing there's something with the PCH in the power rails, something is shorting out because they just light up like crazy, and couldn't really detect where the short was when I looked at it with the thermal camera. But $250 board. This is a $48 board, by the way. Received a massive donation to get this, helping the channel out. Chris over at iFix Console, thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. And it was because literally the only one I could find at the moment. I searched, and all I was finding was a bunch of $250 ones and a $48 board. Now, is it a direct replacement? No, we've got some work to do. We're moving a ton of components over to get USB-C functioning. Hopefully, it's never been used. He has no plan on using it. He uses the USB-A ports. My customer, he's still in the days of QuickBooks. Understandable for an accountant. And also, I'd like to make the joke now officially online that this being an accountant's computer, me using hot air, I'm cooking the books, but not in that way. But take it as you will. All right, let's get started, man. That was a whole lot of talking about nothing. I hope to be able to get this and get it tested and have it USB-C go first go. That'd be great. I did pull the SSD out, and then it looks like also, I'm just going to leave it on there for now, but we do have a buggered up part right there where my iron happened to hit this socket. And that's not uncommon. I could go get an uncommon part to have to replace. I have 2 more on this board, but yeah, being careful. And I don't think it happened whenever I was soldering. It happened, I dropped the iron and it come down across. Regardless, let's go. Board functions, computer booted. We just need to flip-flop a bunch of components. I haven't really made up my mind the best way to do it yet. Do I take and pull the component? Like take and pull the component off and then come down and try and put it on the board with the scope, like pull it off with the scope, move the component, then move the scope, or just keep the scope over where I'm working and try to pull all these components off just by eyeball. Some of them are tiny. I think if I pull them off by eye, that's going to lead to a lot, and I do mean a lot, of flinging components away. Let me tell you, it happened once already, and I had to find it on my floor. It was actually that capacitor there that I had to go fetch off the floor. So don't know which way to approach it. Do I keep reeling the scope back and forth? Like, really, I could just look at the screen and move it a bunch. I don't know. Yeah, well, that's the hope, is that it's going to function properly. Ideally, that's the outcome that I would like. I can't guarantee it, but we're gonna try to make it happen. We're definitely moving enough stuff over to get it to happen. Now, whether it works that way or not, I don't know. We got what, 2 resistors to move, 3 resistors. Okay, man, I don't even want to think about any of this. This is just insanity at its best, having to move all this stuff. Okay, only 1 resistor there, not 2. All right, well, we'll try and grab it and come down. So I do have some sticky flux here. We're going to come down and try and tack some of them in place on flux, just like literal flux it into place. Sorry about shaky cam, but that's just the nature of what are we hooked on? Tape. Like, why can I not move this hot air? Packaging tape had my electrical portion of it. Realized we could have tried double stacking those, but why? We really rip a resistor out of place. It's got to. I see it laying there. Okay. I think we got that in enough view, right? Now, as long as none of those fly away on us. They should be good, correct? Let's go back out a little just in case. I don't have this at a how do you want to say it? High or high airspeed to begin with. So what we're going to do, we're going to take and remember which one of these is. Oh, that's nice and sticky till we blow hot air on it. All right. Not ideal, but we can do it. We'll jump in chat here in a moment. Not where it goes, but we're going to park one there just to move those up. We got to grab, what is that, a resistor up here? I think we can pull this one by eyeball. And this is where you don't dare bump your hand or the tweezers when you're grabbing this tiny stuff completely off camera. Still the USB-C thing. Got it. All right, let's throw some hot air on there. Get that solder flowing. So we have two caps either side, one here and here of this big IC. I'm going to grab those both by eyeball, move them down. Did not feel very confident in stilling. We'll see how it goes. Grab the other one and then move that big IC. Just out of use lately. We'll go ahead and move it. Let me try and get some more focus on that. What else can we move? So we see we have a row of them. They're going to be running that way. And there's resistors mixed in there. And we have another one, what is it, that goes up here. And all this crap. Let's start grabbing them one by one. All right. Excuse me. Going up to see this. This is a resistor up here. They're kind of thin. I don't like grabbing resistors by hand just because of how thin they are. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, we've got a couple. Let's move a couple down into place. How many of these do we want to pull down here? Because right now we've got, what, 3 components loose? I think 1, 2, 3, yeah. What's that? 4. Yeah, we'll probably bundle those up. We see which order they go in. And that's blurry as hell. Let me try and get that back in focus. It's about as good as we're going to get it. Put some light. I just want to warm the board up and hopefully not blow anything away. All right, let's throw some flux on and get those. Is that all 4? We're going to come back with a micro pencil and obviously clean all this up. Let's just make sure the solder's flowing, doing what it needs to right now. Before I started this stream, when I was working on this earlier, I did go around and fluff up the pads a little bit with leaded solder. So we got one more. What do we have? So another resistor and a big giant cap. So we'll have another resistor, then a giant cap, I think here. And what is that? C157. C157 is empty on the other board. I'm looking beside it. There should be a 3-pin. Okay, and there is. And it's also, this is also, so empty, also empty. And then we start in on the other madness. So let's get this last resistor, big cap, and then we'll move this chip over. Man, that is absolutely terrifying. Terrifying grabbing those blind, just like with how small they are. Nah, thanks, I'm good. All right, big cap on its way. All right, time for this blasted thing that I've been kind of ignoring. Let's move this nice hot board back over. We gotta jump that down. Now, is that a dot? No. Surely this dot is for this chip. I don't see resistors don't have a pin 1. Neither do caps. There's nothing in this location, and this big white is a screw hole. The only thing that dot could be for would be this U2 location, I'm guessing. U2? What about me? Jeez, I'm the one here cooking these books like this. And the dot is in the same spot on the other board, so we're just going to heat this chip up and pop it on down there. Alright, chip fold. Don't fling it like a moron. And I think that's going to be good. I'll just get that. I did slide it off a little, so hopefully it separates back out. Let's throw some heat at it. Also, don't want to rake any components off. So we're going to try and keep this high enough in the air to not scrape any loose. That is not on by any means. Hot air was caught under the corner of the other motherboard. I couldn't get any more angle on it to go the way I need it to. So we're going to reflow it right here. It's all molten. I'm going to say that's it, seeing how it's centered itself. Not even going to attempt with the pins underneath and not one big ground pad. You can see, you can see beforehand. But if we move the scope up, we're not. Where's the location of it? Is that it? Are those just big pads underneath? I wonder if we need a different chip. Oh, let me run this back on my YouTube quick. I'm going to hang up the hot air, just let it cool down too. No, so it is just big pads. All right. I'm good with it. I'm just checking on my end. All right, let's continue this hopefully working Type C circuit rebuild from board to board. Did I move a bunch? I did move a bunch of stuff, didn't I? I did. I'm an idiot. Oh yeah, they blew. At least we know the order they go in. So we wouldn't want that resistor, that one. The resistor splits the other two. All right, let's throw some flux on there and start moving those. Get it in focus first. Start moving those back into place. 2 big pads. Yep, thank you, sir. I had to go back and actually search it myself to see what the hell was exactly going on. Everybody secured? You back in place? You good? Alright. Next portion. What are we looking at? So we have what? 3 in a row? Let's pull the board over a little further. So we have, what are those? It looks to be 3 resistors right in a row. I really hope I don't drop anything pulling this off of there without the scope. I gotta look at this other board. I need to make sure. Get this other board in the situation. Okay, yeah. I thought for a second from far away we had one of them goopy looking fuses, but that was, like I said, I was looking at this from like 3 feet away by eye. Stuff's kind of small. There's nothing there. That's just how it's marked. We're grabbing these 3, and we'll pop them on down. I'm gonna get some flux down here, hit it with hot air, have it nice and melted. That way it'll hold stuff in place. Throw some hot air on it quick. Perfect. Let's start pulling these guys out of their home. And what else? Can we swipe them 2 in one go? I don't want to do all those, but we got to. All right, pushing our luck. That's enough, I think, for now. Let's suppose real quick while we have the board in, you know what? Let's get these ones. These, although they're sitting in flux, I still don't trust it. We knock the board, we could be in for a world of trouble having to locate those. I really don't want to search the floor over looking for stuff in the bench. So we'll put all this garbage in place first. And that's good as long as there are no bridges between those. That'll be okay. Going to harness or dock the hot air quick, let it cool down for a moment, let everything here cool down, and just because I'm working so closely to it, we're going to take and pull out going to pull this guy out now. So literally, and you can pull them out however you want. The best way I've found is get a wire from an old power supply, clip it in, and throw some heat on it. I'm probably not going to get it with that. Let me take the tip off the hot air. It might need to cool down because that is locked on there and it's twisting. Yep, cool it down. We'll get that out. Let's see what we can do with the iron. See if we can, probably not with the micro pencil, but we'll try real quick. See if we can flow some solder on there. It's only 4 pins, right? Definitely not enough thermal mass to do anything. Over time, it may heat it up enough, but all right, we're cooling down much quicker. Just be a moment till we can use our, or get that end off the hot air. Honestly, the only downside to most cheap irons is that little twist lock system they have when they're hot. Most of the time I find you're not doing it. You got to cool them off. All right, time to pull this thing. Let that warm up. Just a little something to help balance the board. All right, there's our 4-pin connector secured for later, since we mounted the one on the board we want to keep. Air up, cool that back down so I can put the nozzle back on. We'll continue the work with the circuit. And even with all that hot air in the proximity of that 4-pin APS connector, where is it? So it was right there. There's where we just come across removing components. And that's the one to take it out. Or right there, sorry, is where it was, not that one. Right there. Didn't knock any of the components we need loose. That we know of yet. Not much more to move. Let's keep at it. I'll take a quick break too. I'm gonna catch a cold drink. Smokes, pancakes. Who got them? Huh? Excuse me, not much. Let's find my adapter. Oh, it was a bit. There we go. That's the guy we're looking for. So real quick, while we're just taking this brief break, hot air is cool. We're gonna move our heat protection layer. And try going over to jumping this board with a normal power supply. Let's see if the method still works, or if HP has changed something. Really got to find. Oh. Okay, so instead of just plugging wires in all crazy willy-nilly, here is the adapter I made. I just pulled a 24 pin off a motherboard. That lets me interface with my power supply. And this is what I was attempting to do with the bad board last stream, was jump it with a bad, jump the other board with a good power supply, trying to see if the power supply was bad or if it's the board or the processor. The RAM I could test. I did not have another board or CPU of that generation. But we did do this contraption without this adapter. Essentially, we did it just plugging the soldered wires into the power supply. That can slip and cause all kinds of problems. Also coming direct off of the power supply, I soldered to 12 volt and some ground locations, one 12-volt rail, just in case this board wasn't pulling enough wattage or enough power that these weren't kicking on and engaging. But I've never done it that way, so we're going to use the two that I would normally try to use. And we got to chop apart that one little connector there in order to get into it, so let's do that. Remember, we're replacing this, but not till we're done, in case we happen to bump it with the hot air again or the iron. So I literally just need this enough out of the way so we can plug into it. I don't feel like removing it yet. That should let us get our 12-volt power in. Indeed it does. We'll grab an extension. What do you know? We've got one right here. All right, this gets us up to our other EPS connector. HP Special, they have two. And this only plugs in one way. We know it goes toward the left. We have our switch. And let's see if we can jump this board. Let's make sure nothing's laying under. It's going to bridge anything. Like a blob of solder. This is an ESD safe mat as well. Switch out of the way, kind of. Keeps wanting to fall into the way. Then grab power lead. A little bit of different behavior, I think, as long as we don't spark anything off our power supply. I think we'll be okay. When we switch on the power supply, let's see if this board's actually going to start up. It may not. We may be missing something. Oh, sorry. Turn it on instead of off. So there, it's on. Power supply's on. Don't arc out to anything. And we're getting a pulse. So indeed, we may not be pulling the right power. We might need to go back. This was an adapter. Like I said, I made this adapter. I never did it with an adapter. I always did it straight. Straight in with the power supply. not having anything wired up. And the idea of the switch was to connect because they're all main. It makes the connection of how and when you would want to. So doing it with this is definitely not working. We should go back to the wires. I really don't feel like unsoldering it at all, though. But power supply is good. So known working one does not work with set adapter, but I have done it. I said just doing it the risky way, where you just jam wires in. Don't know why it's not working this way. Let's set this down and not short anything out. Just in case we're not getting the right 12 volt, we'll try it with this to be sure. Still pulsing. So one of its system checks is not happening. It's really trying though. Let's flip-flop these. And same thing. Could it be the gauge of the wire? I don't know. Never had problems before, but you can see we got a pulsing light and the fan's not spinning up like it should. Anyhow, I don't really want to strip this down to bits and be plugging wires in when we have a working board. But yeah, the adapter was a good idea until it wasn't. Let's get you out of there. All the power away from my board. Just to verify, here, we'll do this. Watch some, you know what? Watch something we did be bad. Watch us have a short on there since we've added all that stuff, and it's incomplete. Oh, the horror of that situation. All right, so we do have steady power using the factory power supply. The fan is not liking life right now, though. Maybe get that out from under it. Ah, well, when you skip part, it's not going to turn on. Let's put the other part in. I don't know, you'd have to compare the two streams, but as is evidenced, this fan would spin up and then spin down to a certain, like a lower RPM, and it now does that, but it spins back up a little bit. Let me see, can we steal an HDMI cable to feed into the stream? Not really the point, but you know, got to do something when you're waiting on your cheap hot air station to cool down. Kind of want to see what's on screen, so not really the point, but you know. All right. Yeah, I think we can do that. We'll do that real quick. We'll grab this 8. Where's the HDMI lead? Show you that it is on. and not just sitting there idly spinning away with a fan. Let's hear it for short HDMI cables. All right, let's go to there. We don't have the SSD in, so that's why we're getting a message that boot device not found, but we do have a working computer now. Jumping it, I'm a little baffled on why making an actual soldered wired adapter does not work. And to go with that, maybe somebody can answer this question that's had to do this if you've ever had to jump one of these. I've also never made use of this. When using this, I've never made use of the green wire, or it would be a purple wire if you want to match up to the HP plug. So the red wire on this instance, I've only ever used the white would be gray. So the black and the gray, never used the red or the green, and the red is in use to go to our power supply. As I said, I've only ever soldered it and stuck it into the power supply, used what wires were needed, and built out with a little switch. This could be a bad switch. I don't know. I did reuse this, so that might be the problem. I don't have the original one that I had was a normal toggle like this, but more along the lines of the ones you see on RC transmitters, like the big silver threading kind that had the arm that you flip back and forth. Don't know why soldered wouldn't work. Would love to hear an explanation on that versus just jamming wires. But that is typically how I test it with a normal power supply. Let's power this thing down and continue the USB-C rebuild. But we do have functioning computers still. Also doing all that level of little soldering does make you a little nervous when it comes to does it still work. I don't care who you are, when you start doing that much soldering on something, you're going to worry about it. So we've made it this far. Board starts. Let's continue it and hope for USB-C functionality. All right, let's give my computer give the monitor back to my laptop. Yeah, it doesn't like the other power supply. It does not. It definitely doesn't. Not with the soldered connector. But as I said, I find it very weird that anytime that I did jump it with a different power supply before. Never that one. That was a used one pulled out of a computer. But anytime I've done it on the 24 volt end, the 24 pin end, I had a power switch there coming off of a green and a black, and then this black and this white for this plug, send that up to the power supply, skipping the green and the purple, and then just use the normal 12 volt rails right from the power supply itself. Never one direct off the 24 pin. Just those itself, and not including the purple and the gray wire. And that's how I've tested, is it a power supply issue or a different issue? The few that I've tested with alternate power supplies ended up replacing this unit, and it's sad because it's like a 280 watt. What is this junk? 180 watt power supply for a computer. Come on, man. What are you doing? 180 watts? Get out of here with that craziness. All right, let's go back to work. I hope we're done with this USB-C circuit. Also, let's take a look at this. This is good shit here. Okay, I promise you. This is USB-C connector. Where the hell is it? Bring the scope to it. Right there. That guy. Find the orange pointy stick. So obviously we had the 4 ground legs, and when I lifted it up, it ripped a few traces off of this board. That's fine. Right up to where the components were on those diode arrays, or whatever the hell they are, those chips there, voltage regulators, who knows. Lifted off a non-used pad, and then 2 that went up there. That'd be a super easy circuit to repair if I need to. Don't know that I'm going to. I may try and get this board working in the future for some fun. Not really entirely sure. But I was thinking all these were just solid little holes, like vias. Nope, there's pins that pass through each of those. And versus 2 rows of pins, like on a switch. Nah, there's a row of bent pins here, and then there's round pins that pass through every single one of these that I had to take and clean off and get lined up to plug the port into the other board. Also, all these holes were soldered shut on the other board. But jumping over to that, there they be. Every one of them, if we can stop the camera shake. Every one of those little holes has its pin, its corresponding pin in it. That one wasn't really free, but you get the idea. They're all there. We're going to solder them up later. And that's after we throw enough heat at this to, where is it? See that? That plastic's got to drop in, and that one, but I think that one's a little melted. So we're going to have to do a squish on this thing to get it on. If I have to, I'll pull it back off of there, heat it up, and yank it off. Let the madness continue. Not much left. Let's go. All right, let's get our heat layer in place so we don't burn our little ESD mat. It is not heat resistant, just merely electro ESD safe, not heat resistant. All right, tweezers, where did you go? There you are. And hot air. We're going to switch it off and throw the nozzle back on. Nope, 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 nope. All right, low airspeed. Let's start pulling parts. What do we want to go for? Let's go for all those stupid little, what are they? Resistors that are above that big IC. I think I got it. Don't fling, please. he goes there. We need some flux there, though. That one's blank as far as I can see, nothing on it. We have these ones to fill in, this, then that. I hope that's it. I really do. I bumped two components, so we're going to go up and check it out. Right there. Oh, so I just bumped one, not two. I got to pull that resistor loose, move it down here some way, somehow. It's a little blurry. It's not perfect. We'll go with it. I see this ending badly. I'm going to squeeze as little as possible, not bump anything. Make the move, set them down. All right, what else do we have in that vicinity? 3 big caps, and then the little one there. Just at the edge of you, I guess I'll move it. There we go, more centered. Board is hot, don't touch. Note to self. Note to self, cannot cook these books without them heating up. Yeah. Are we back? Yeah, sorry. Big boss is on the phone. Wondering if I got lost or what was going on. No, just kidding. Just checking in, you know. Got to keep track of these things. And no, the one down under BB, no, that's on my other board to answer your question. The cap in BB does not need to move, or the cap below BB. All right, we have most of our stuff moved down except that big IC. Let's go get it buckled in place. Hopefully. There's a lot of stuff there that we got to move around. And I mean a whole, I don't think, is any of that tied in? These are. Are those? Yeah. So just all this is what's goopy right now. Well, let's start with, look at that, chopped up 12-volt rail. Looks good. I'm going to turn the airspeed down a little. Temp up a slight bit. Airspeed down, way down. Where we're not blowing stuff away, because that's a lot of stuff loose. Get over here, little buddy. We believe in you. There we go. Let's throw some hot air at these. Try and split them apart. Well and good. There we go. That's that. BB is in a different spot on this board compared to the other. But this is about where the similarities end. We need to move this chip over and then mess with that USB-C port. Let's see where, so the dot is in the upper part, right there. Let's make sure on the other board it's in the same spot. We're just going to literally heat this up and grab this chip. Let's throw some heat on there quick. A little bit of flux. Now that one is one big pad. There is no leaded on there, so we need to get this hot. I did not fluff up those pads at all. Get it nice and hot. Everything looks like it's starting to go molten, although it's not starting to. We need more heat. Or a bigger nozzle, that would be the easier solution, but I'm determined to do it with this one. And we do have a bridge there. We're going to clean those up somehow. Unless it broke on its own, it might have. We'll trust it. Whew! Yeah, it broke apart. That bridge on the top too there. Alright, acceptable. Let's look at the other board, try and get some views on it before we flip over that EPS connector, and we're really going to have to melt down this USB-C. Right there, that I 100% know that's not in place. All right, scoping out the other board quick to see what we might have missed. So our USB-C port, everything there, and then following these lines are what I followed up. So almost not the ones across the top of the letters, but right here. Second one in, and they run up to 2 vias. What are the chances there's something on the other side we need to move? Surely it couldn't be. It just got to join somewhere, right? So that's right up above the SSD. Here's the SSD mount, and when I meant up above, it was down below, but when we flip the board, it'd be up above. So they're somewhere in this area. They just come back and just traces to somewhere else on the board. I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to go the idiotic route of it. It looks like we moved everything that need be for that circuit. And then you get to this BB circuit that is flipped the other way over there. Everything pertaining to this whole area seems good. Dang, that trace runs the whole way along the bottom, up. I'm going to say it continues. How about we assume it continues all the way up and around. Just jumps on the vias here and there. And then it comes back down, joins on to the other USB. So that has to be, yeah, it's the ground. Yep. Bingo bango right there. As I said, I did try and trace most of these out, just looking at it. Obviously, where I can't see. That's card reader related. And looking in this area, I have more on the current board in this area for the card reader than what's on this board I would need to be salvaging parts from. There's more on the current board that has a card reader as well. So no doubts about that there. And just, I said, looking over all this, it doesn't seem like anything else is missing. And the circuit kind of seems to stop in this area. So we're going to say that's good. We're going to prop this thing up, go to our main cam, throw the job up, and it's HP BakerMS to Baker conversion. Essentially, that's what we're doing. Converting the BakerMS board, because they're both Baker Revision A M11. The other one's a BakerMS. This is a Baker. So what is the difference? Serial and Type C. Or no serial, but Type C. And the other one has serial with no Type C. All right. We need some massive hot air on this port and hopefully not melting it. But we need to get that port to drop down and get the pins underneath to connect. And it's really hard to get a view of it. I don't want to try and lift it back up just in case it's did touch down to any of the pins, but trying to look at it, there was like no way I could actually get the microscope on here to see directly under and see if the back row pins that attach to the pads, where the pads ripped on the other board, couldn't find a way to see under there if they're connected. And that's the ones I'm worried about, because I don't have access to them. I only have access to the direct, those pins there. So the back row that's back in here, we've got to have enough heat. And I did fluff them up with leaded solder, but I just don't think, the port is just not down enough. It's not sitting down where it could be. So let's try and change that. Thankfully, we can heat it from the bottom. As long as we don't fling anything and a bunch of that stuff doesn't move off. I was thinking that maybe to try and run heat on it, and my best view is when all the solder starts melting around components around the Type-C port, then I would be close. But I don't know how that'll work either. I just know I need to get eyeballs on it and not blow heat directly into my scope. Or directly onto my wires or anything dealing with the microscope. When's the last time you had a microscope that at that angle before? Yeah, not regularly, huh? Here, let's go a little more horizontal with it. Okay, I think that is plastic. Could be solder, but man, it's so close. Yeah, it's definitely plastic we're seeing. There's kind of plastic in the way of being able to see in there to the pins. That's the other thing. Like, ideally, I want to see it drop, but yeah, no. Tweezers. All right, hot air. We need a nozzle off for this one. Yeah, that's, what am I going to do, though? I got to find a way to run hot air plus give downward pressure once it's molten. I get it. So I'm going to swing the scope out of the way just because it's ridiculous. But I kind of like need to. It's a shame the scope doesn't really go much higher. I was hoping to be able to see components right by that USB-C. Actually, I can. I can see when stuff goes molten. But, yeah, I know what you're saying. Here's what you're saying, that I'm not going to get enough downward pressure to really sink it in for fear of it falling off the box. Yeah, I get that, because I mean, I can get some good downward force, but I don't know about enough. So best thing we can do is try. I'm going to turn it up though. I'm going to try and sink a little bit more heat into it than we previously were. And it takes a bit to heat up. That's the other thing. There we go. We'll do it that way. Let the camera actually capture what's happening. Although I can't see shit now. So maybe better to kind of light it. Yeah, you're just going to have to deal with the glare. Sorry. All right, hot air. Ideally, what I want to do is I want to see, like, components on the top of the board here move. I can already see the flux getting liquid. Well, better not scrape too much. There's a little resistor there. Or something. Might just be pads. I don't know. Getting some longer tweezers, though. I'm tired of getting my hands in that close. There's some definite downward pressure there. More than I had. We're going to go with it. I also turned my heat up. Should be cool by now, right? I'm going to continue holding it. Oh, we'll try and peek down under with the scope and get that adjusted back. To the best of our abilities, we will try and get down under with the microscope and see if we can see any of them pins. They're very, very hard to see. You have the little anchor things around the edge on the back, so that makes it near impossible to see. All those went down. I wouldn't say they're connected the best. You can kind of see the pins there. I want to say that I can see solder between some of them, but not all. A little bit of space, like this side didn't drop near as much. Let's check the bottom of the board. I guarantee it's where that plastic's buggered up. It is. That one went in the hole. The one that's a little buggered up did not drop in the hole as far. And let's see if we can see that going by the... Oh, that's warm. Going by the pins, how far the little pins stick out. Let's see if one side's out further than the other. They all look pretty even. Just that little bit that don't want to go down. What do we do here? Reflow it? What's the vote? Give me a vote, somebody, if there's anybody still alive. Hey, Fernando. You hate soldering these? Sorry, buddy. If that's been there for a while, I just now saw it. Yeah, you're not alone in not liking soldering those. You are not alone, my friend. Let's have a vote. Do we heat it back up and try and reflow it? Because I think it's pretty safe. Like, as you can see, in the USB-C port, plastic's fine. We didn't get enough heat on it to actually melt that. So we have the chance for a reflow. Is that what we should do? Try and reflow it and get it to press down a little more? I say, yeah, what's it going to hurt? Huh? It's not going to hurt. Is it? Hell no, it'll be good. Just having a cracker or two while we're debating this and voting on it. I think it'll be okay. Oh, it won't hurt. Turn it up to 500, huh? 580? Just kidding. It only goes to 5. My cheapo station stops at 500. Right. We need another cracker for bravery. Kind of skipped breakfast and lunch today. What are you on about? Well, come on by. Get that edge a little flatter. Hmm? Hmm? So I see. Yeah. We'll go a little flatter. I don't mind. We just got to really not knock it down off the box. Here's another thing. Okay. Do we find it maybe valuable to throw? Let's talk pliers on the edge. Pliers. Oh, I got vice grips. I got shit. I don't even know who makes them now. Irwin. I got Irwin clamps. I got a pipe clamp, wood clamps, C clamps, vice grips, dingles, dongles, bingles, bangles. But you name it, I got it. We'll put it on there if you think it's going to solve the problem. Let's just rip with the hot air and see what happens. Oh, all right. Let's get it nice and molten again. Hopefully. Oh, let's throw some flux on the top. That's what I want to do, is hit the top with some, excuse me, some hot air. We're gonna try and get some flux to go under there, and make that solder flow. Because I did not flux it before I put it on. So let's try and get some of that to rip underneath there. We'll actually even tilt it a little to help it. Want that flux to go under, help the solder flow on those pins. Ideally, should be enough there. It's up at we're at 480. We're gonna start hitting it on the board now. I got a lot of weight hanging off the back side of the board. So if we can get it to drop a little bit on this edge, I'd be super thrilled about that. I can see the solder is starting to be molten. The whole thing wants to rock out and fling. That's what I don't want to do. So I'm gonna pull the heat there. Without a doubt, that one half of the pads had to have heated up. No doubt in my mind. That whole port was rocking and sliding all over the like tweezers at one. I almost flung down like that on it. I don't think that edge is popping down anymore. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm gonna say that stuff definitely had to go molten under there. We'll pop it down and clean it up. I can put a man. What can I do here? You know what? Hold on. Here's what I can do. We'll pull out a. I have a Windows 11 SSD here. And we'll go ahead and yank out now that we could go ahead and pop into that board. That way I ain't gotta boot up the customer's board. Even though, oh HP, I love you. And your freaking Torx bits. All right, let's grab our little guy here. What are you? Definitely not what we want. Get the hell out of here, man. Grab this guy, maybe. I know I'm working in the blurry blind down here, but it works. Also, this is not an Intel system, so we're going to get some goofy driver finding devices update type thing when it boots up, but to be expected. Let's slap this guy back together quick. Also need to flip it over before we go booting anything. Need to flip over and solder all them pins. I kind of didn't want to solder them, but good news is if we do get them soldered, some of them are connected to the other ones, so it's going to make a connection. Just probably not the right connection or the one that we're hoping for, you know? Like this stuff was definitely molten. I don't see any way to get it any more molten. And that was a lot, and I do mean a lot of downward pressure. Like board bowing back into the board lifting up, almost flung it off of there twice, right? So let's take it down under the scope, see if we can kind of eyeball it and see if it is going to look any better or any worse. Pliers. We're not doing pliers on the edge, man. That edge is down. I just. Now, if it did do anything, we got to heat it up. It lifted the other side up. 100%. Lifted the other side up. This is actually nuts, man, trying to get this thing on. What I want to investigate is down underneath there. I want to see. It definitely dropped on this side, but the other side's up now. You can see it. So we got to heat it up and downforce that other side. All right, here we go, man. This is last round of this crap. I know it was. Oh, sorry, wasn't under the scope. Look, we got it 2 touchdown with molten stuff, but you can see that it's lifted up on one side and down on the other. And the port is still good. Just saying. Port is still good internally. But now we have it popped up on this side, so we need to pop that down. It doesn't look like much. Those pins, I don't know. Is that dead even? It just looks really bad on the back end. Maybe the back end has a wiggle wobble to it. Yeah, yeah, it's up a little, I think. Well, it's in the hole. You know what? We're going to solder it. We're going to hit all them pins and go for it. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. It just looks like it could be a little better, but we're going with it. We're going to see. All right, got the micro pencil here, so to not do ultimate damage, we're going to yank down these little pins first. All right, flux, and I don't know if we're going to use. I'm going to swap out the micro pencil for my big iron bent conical. I don't know, just something. I don't know, something about soldering with the blade tip, just like it's. When I say triggering, but it makes me angry soldering with those blade or knife tip ones. I hate them. Can't stand them. And I even custom made that for a specific purpose. That one has I filed it down and retinned the tip. And that's to have it go in between USB-C port and a full-size switch motherboard to get to get at the hidden pins, the hidden row. You can actually solder them with a thin enough iron. You do have to kind of clean up the edge of the board PCB a little, but it does go between. All right, throw some stoof on here. Yeah, let's turn the iron on. A. See, that leg's definitely up. I can barely feel it coming through. What else do we need to do here? Ah, yes. Those ones. A little blurry. Apologies. All right, a little bit of hot air. If that should let us pull that connector. Let's grab a extension for something to lift it out with, and then we'll clean it out the rest of the way. And again, this part's not necessary. I'm just lazy. Much easier to put the clamp on there when there's no audio thing there. But still will do the job that we need it to do. Let's see if that little spring dropped any components. I don't believe it did. Nah, everything's good. All right. So I was under the scope, but you weren't. Sorry. It's good. Good to go. Go back under this unit and clean them holes out. Whoever said flux isn't for desoldering. Might not be, but it sure likes to pick stuff up quicker. So we still have two there. Can we get them from the top side? Nah. Really don't feel like doing battle with them. But if we got to. It's just not going to clear out. Well, pull out the other gun. We had it out. Not going to kill us with two more, you know? Which ones were they? This one and that one. What a nuisance. I hate even having to use these, but they do come in handy on occasion. Clear. Clear. We do have a little pin that goes in the board, so we know the correct orientation. Let's take for a moment and just clean up our other ones. Literally just going to hit the pins and drag the solder off. It goes in. Let's get some solder on the iron. Anchor 2 in. It's going to add a little more to those first two. There we have it. All right. A little bit of clean, yes. Is it the correct orientation? Yeah, it's got a key. It's got a key that goes into the board. A little key there. Definitely correct orientation. It's funny to even clean up these two little spots where we were working on the back. If you would could lay your arm across the rest of this board and see how much flux there. I mean, you can probably see the sheen of it here and there, but it's sticky everywhere from the factory. Just absolute mess it is. And then this side. Let's throw some hot air on it quick just to warm it up. All right, flux is now warm. The only other thing that I'm suspicious of was off camera. One cap that flung. Well, both I had them double stacked, and both of them flung. One I saw land like right in front of me when I was moving it from the other board. The other one went off the bench, and I've dropped many a other cap on the floor. So I hope that's the right one. Not from this job, but I've dropped them at different points. So let's hope that indeed that is the right cap. I would hate for it to do something wrong. The board already powered up with it on, obviously, but you never know. Pretty sure the other one flung off of the bench. I haven't actually went over it with a, bright light fine tooth comb or anything, but I'll take a moment and look now just to see if maybe it flung somewhere else. My guess is went to the floor, and the one I found down there is for the job, but You never can tell. What are you? Blob of solder or cap? You gotta be a blob. Yeah, blob of something. You're too hard to hold. Let's check the scope. Definite blob of solder. Because there were a few other components down there, but none the right size. That one the right size, but I have dropped that size before as well. I just hope the one I picked up is indeed the right one and not something that belongs elsewhere. That would be bad. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that's it. Well, not say. I'm gonna hope that's it. Let's say it exactly how it is. I'm gonna hope that's it because I don't have any other option. I don't feel like crawling around on the floor to find anything else. So. Nothing else falling off the board. All is well. Let's power it up. Get a drive in it. So we'll throw my drive in. If need be, pull one from the lines on an Xbox. What are you talking about? Oh, the USB-C lines on an Xbox. Well, I thought of that, and being that the USB Type-C and all these USB 3 share the same circuit, I could probably just pull one off of this board, just try and match the same color, you know? Because they are slightly different colors, but if I find a super light colored one, that kind of looks like it. Now I'm starting to question it. I'm going to say it's good, though, honestly. Let me look. Let me see here. Where did I see that? Right there. Because SATA is going to use some of the same 5-volt. He's the right size, isn't he? Is he the right size? No. Yes. Hold on. Change my mind here real quick. We're going to pull one random ass component. Just to try. Color matching is not science, not how you do this. I'm going to take and grab something because it looks so. All right. Now, keeping that in mind, let's put him there. Move our board. Move this to under the microscope. And give a check see. Ooh, he's a different size, isn't he? Or is he? He looks more the same color. They're all three different. Rather than that guy. That looks like something from completely different. And when I was doing it, they were the same color. But again, and I don't have a spare Xbox here anywhere. What do we say? Do we swap them because they're so similar? Versus, I know color don't mean shit, and I really don't feel like clambering around on the floor, like sweeping everything and checking specs. That seems more of a match than that. Yes, no. Filter and caps, they should be okay. Don't so switch it or not. Give me some thoughts here, man. You just can't tell me some random shit of what they're doing. What are we gambling on? We swap it? I'm gonna have a cracker while I wait on that vote. Swap it? Oh, we got Fernando and Mr. Chris at odds. Over in the YouTube chat, Fernando says yes. Mr. Chris says, nah, leave it be. And he's laughing and crying about it. Oh boy, we're at odds on this one. At odds in this one. Oh boy. Leave it be? Alright, well, we have it, okay? Let me, seems like there's a little flux there. I'm just trying to stick him in place for right now. He's not touching nothing, he's just there hanging out. We're actually going to make sure he really stays in place. Okay? We're going to melt him. Ooh. That'd be high airflow. So let's throw some hot air at that flux. And we'll just leave him parked in that puddle for now. Right there. That's our little buddy. We'll come back to you if we need to. You know what this shit reminds me of? I was working on a 55-inch TV. I might even have it on video. I was working on a 55-inch TV on my bench. I had it on the bench and had it propped on the back of a, because it was too big for the bench, obviously. I mean, come on, you can see the top edge is just there, and then the bottom edge is there. And if we really want to get technical, there's a big view and mess of the bench, okay? So a TV laying, right? Coming off, propped up on a chair. In the main fuse, where the power comes in, the power cord comes in, there's like one of them glass fuses, right? And I didn't have any more here. I was out. I'm like, I don't want to run uptown. I didn't want to get away from it. I just wanted to get to testing. So I took some solder, leaded solder, and wound it around the fuse contacts for a few loops. I'm like, it'll be fine. I tried powering that thing up. That solder lit up in a purple spark. That's what that cap reminds me of. It'll be fine. Oh, shit. Noise filters. Yeah, I know what they are. I'm just saying, like, man, look. If this was your favorite Little Mermaid coloring book right now, you're coloring outside the lines. Not, she had red hair, not fucking purple or reddish orange, not purple or you know, green or some punk rock ass color like that. We know what color the mermaid's hair was. I'm just saying, trying to match up. Oh, fuck. What else? All right, so we got to let's just put this in the correct orientation to begin with so the HDMI cable will reach to the capture card. What else do we need? We need USB from the KVM and HDMI. We got to actually steal. Well, I guess we don't need USB, but if we want a way to interface with it, yeah, we'll have to pull the USB cable from the KVM. Oh, shit. Which one are you? Who are you? Where are you? Ouch. Yes, I'm on Twitch, sir. Thank you for coming over. All right, so we got some USB. And we got to steal this from my HDMI KVM to feed it to the capture card. Excuse me. All right, capture card plugged in. HDMI cable plugged in. You fuck. We'll plug it back in. Should be okay. But we'll unplug it. Fuck it. All right. Let's move the board back. Make sure nothing is under it that's going to short it. Plug in the other power lead. Right? We have USB-C that we're going to attempt to plug in there in a moment. All right, let's power it up and send it into OBS. All right, powered up. Capture card. Hopefully it refreshes. If not, we'll activate it in a moment. Yeah, it's not liking it. There we go. HP booting up. Getting devices ready because that came out of a Ryzen system. Also, thanks for being, having your first time chat over here on Twitch, Fernando. That's awesome. I moved to Twitch. Yes, I see you, sir. All right, what was it crying about? Is it going to boot back into my installed Windows 11? This is a Windows 11 computer, but I don't want to boot up my client stuff because, we have to change this pin and whatnot. So it's working. Let's get our mouse, right? Never mind. Did I need to do that? I didn't need to do that, or did I? Let's see. Yeah, okay, so we're not going to do it that way. I'm not. Screw the USB from the KVM because it's weird. I'm not running the HDMI into the KVM, so we'll grab my Logitech, wherever the hell it is. All right. Logitech keyboard and mouse or trackpad, USB dongle with attached anti-theft system. And this is for the guy that I used to work with. So, you ever see the restroom keys that have the big hubcap or something ridiculous attached to them, like a gas station restroom key? And this is so I got tired of buying new Logitech dongles for this because it's the one that has the dongle you can pair new devices to, unifying receiver. And I got tired of buying new dongles. So, went the ridiculous route, but it worked. So, right? You can't complain if it worked. And we do have some control. Let's go down and where is it? We're going to open up Explorer, right? Yes, no? Oh, Mr. Chris, hopefully you're here, buddy. You made it this long. I know it's late for you. Okay, so where are we at? Any crazy stuff in the screen is the capture card is just a cheap $20 capture card from Walmart. It's made by Vivitar, the cheap camera, film, tape, CD company. So there is our local disk drive. I'm going to plug in USB-C now. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it appears. So that's good news. Let's try and copy some nutty shit. Let's try and copy my stress test folder. Let me grab a mouse, man. I'm not the trackpad type, even though it's great to have it attached to the keyboard. Let's try and copy over my stress test folder to the desktop over the USB-C connection, because that's what I just plugged in was my. So is that our copy? Let's just pop this stress test right, boom, on the desktop with paste, and see what it's reporting at. That. I don't even know the size of that file. We'll delete it and do it again. I can't see where it went. All right, we'll make a second copy, paste. 1.87 gig. This one's probably going to slow down because of the already being there and it's doing its comparing. Replace. So that was like 1 point whatever gig, right? So that seems about right for USB-C type C speeds, correct? $1:40 in the afternoon. Get real, man. That's when I'm just skipping lunch. I know it's 1:40 a.m. for you, buddy. All right, yes, USB-C appears to be working. You know what? If we're going for entertainment's sake, yeah, I mean, it appears to be working. So far, so good. Can't complain. Unplug the power supply, unplug. I can swap out my hard drive just at the quick turn of a screw. Let's take the fully. I'm gonna dub this the fully cooked books of my accountant. back to him tomorrow. We'll get it ready. Find the case. We need a case. And there's some shit rattling around, and I'm not sure what that is. We'll find out when we take the side off. But the fully cooked books are prepared. HP, I love your Torx screws. Okay. Oh yeah, this shit and that, all this stuff that I can't bear to lose. I mean, and this is the level of PC this was. It don't even have. It has the door, but it don't even have the actual optical drive. So let's pop the front off. Although you can't see it. How can we get this on camera? I could go to the big overhead view, but don't really want to. Right? You don't do that. All right. What is this thing? This is an HP Pavilion Desktop TP01-1214. And I would say All the screws are missing. I have them on top of my main office computer. Do the quick rebuild on this guy. It does have Wi-Fi, so I need to pull the Wi-Fi card out of this one. What is in it? This one, look at the HP part number. 915620001. Ouch. It's not easy to get in here. 915620001. So same wireless card. Yeah, sure. All right. You know I'm getting tired now. Trying to use a Torx driver on a Phillips. Do not works that way. Set that off to the side. Try and get that out of the way. I doubt it. It's going to be a miserable thing to keep out of the way. Look, oh, we have to do it. Yes, we got to do a knockout. So let's look at that. So right there, if it ever focuses, and it won't, but now it will, that is our serial knockout. So definitely, I mean, not that we couldn't have done it, but it just, I mean, it would have looked odd. Just having those two in there with the mic knocked out. So that's why I switched this over from the old board to the good one we're keeping. And serial port is a knockout, and USB-C, it's populated and working. I just don't know how the hell to make a video of it. So I have I guess I do have this recorded, and I have the first two parts recorded. All right, let's get something to knock that out of there. How are we going to do this exactly without dinging the case? Need a Phillips might be the one to use. There we go. Fuck did that go? All right, knockout successful. Let's go ahead and work our board in. Look here, man. What are you? Wait, are you? No, you're that one. Okay. And one more. I lost one screen over here. It's kind of driving me nuts. All right, got it back. There we go. All right, on with the build-up. Where's Wi-Fi? Hiding underneath? Of course it is. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. All right, that is somewhat in place. Let's grab the screws. All right, got him. Good night. How long have you been on Twitch? Now I'm almost always watching things on Twitch. Twitch. Are you? Oh, you're asking. Hold on. Let's see. I've been on Twitch a little while. I tend to stream to both platforms and Facebook. Facebook, I don't do the repairs to usually. That's just the podcast. And sadly, if I'd put the amount of time into streaming, just overall, is there? Am I fucking losing my shit, or is there something fucking goofy here? No, they're lining up. Okay, that's better. Screw holes weren't really lining up. Because I first, like, 4 or 5 years on YouTube, I'd live streamed, and like they really don't care about live streaming. So, yeah, if I'd strictly done videos with it, which I would love to turn this whole circuit process into a video, which I might. It's 3 separate individual recording parts, but I can shorten it down into one short, like 15-20 minute video. Yeah, it'd been nice to have that many years into uploads rather than just live streams, because YouTube don't give a shit about live streaming. Really, it doesn't help your channel at all. It hurts you more than anything. But it's, you know what I mean? People like watching, so I hope they'll start pushing it someday. What? I'm like losing my mind here. Like, that board almost looks like it is bowing down over something. I know there's nothing in the case, right? No, that case was completely empty. Yeah, no, there's not shit in there. But yeah, Twitch is just a more recent thing. And it's really only like when I have some stuff going on that I can turn into a live stream, because not everything is stream worthy. Same way everything is not worthy of doing a video on it. And we lost one of those. What a fucking nuisance. All right, let's figure out how to get this little shield off. We gotta reclip our wires. Oh, nice. They actually made it removable, so we can clip these, put the card in, and then snap that back in place. Why the... Wow. I guess I didn't lose one. It only has one antenna connection on it. You see, it's cheap shit like that. Why I don't like big box store items and that, because they literally have a sleeve over the other end and then no antenna connection on the actual Wi-Fi card. Why the hell would you... Really? It costs that much? That little connector? Even over 10,000 computers, I'm sure that's a bill that your average person could pay, the cost for 10,000 of those little antenna connectors to be placed onto a Wi-Fi card. The first computer you sell would cover that. Put both of them on there. Now it's going to be about, can we get this to stay connected as we loop it around the case. Well, definitely can't go behind that if we wanted to make that turn properly. We'll loop it to that side. Yeah, they're saving on cable, but the fact that both antenna connections aren't there, that's the more infuriating fact of these. Like I said, name it, big box, Staples, Walmart, Best Buy, all the big box store computers. They share these common things. Cable is short though. Holy shit. We're gonna get it on there some way, somehow. We're gonna try and snap it into place. Oh, it's gonna be a tweezer job, sadly. Alright, let's grab it. Just so we can see what we're doing. I hate these connections. Alright, before we do anything else stupid, let's snap this connector back on here. Hopefully. Oh. Yay. We got it. Then the other one, it doesn't really matter. It's got a sleeve on it. We'll still try and tuck it into the right spot. Or into a spot. Let's put it that way. And here, let me grab something to show you quick. Where the hell are they at? This is a real good example for people. Okay. Clear the way of this monstrosity that we're working on to talk about some big box. And this is true with desktops and laptops the whole way around. Okay. So here's your more traditional, and these aren't modern, these are 2015, 2016, 17, 18 era laptop boards, maybe some before, some after. That's way older. But regardless, it's an older one. You can see where the fan was. The fan in the fin stack. That's your cooling solution. And your fin stack on your heat spreader, heat pipe would have ran here somewhere and down, come down across and clamped here and actually touched down on that one. This is way older. Same thing here. A fan would be placed in there, blowing out through that. Here's an AMD one from years back, and then more modern Intel one. 2 RAM slots. This would come with a proper cooling solution in this model lap. What board is this? I'm looking for the revision. AHL 50, ABL 52. So this is an HP board, I believe. Yeah, this is an HP board. Came out like one of the HP 15 laptops. So the cooling solution there would be a back plate that goes on. Cooling solution would come across, I think. Yeah, it would have sat in this area somewhere, because this would be toward the front of the laptop, and either blew out the back corner or this side. Regardless, similar setup. A fan would set here. You got your heat spreader. This is an AMD board. Heat spreader, heat pipe, fin stack, fan blowing across it. 2 RAM slots. Then you have your next level down, which is 1 RAM slot, and then this was an early model, one of the ones with RAM soldered to the board. You do have your heat spreader and your fin stack and the fan, but this fan literally, there was a gasket. This is out of an Asus laptop. There was a gasket that in the bottom case of the laptop kind of joined up to the palm rest, and they had foam between it, and it would just kind of smush up to the board and created like a chamber where this fan was a part of that chamber, and it pulled air out. This thing died due to heat. And then you have these models that they cut down on 1 RAM slot, give you no soldered RAM, and this is one of your Black Friday doorbusters or whatever holiday they're trying to ship stuff out the door ultra cheap. Got your CPU, heat spreader, passive cooling, and they even paint the edge of it black so you can't see that there's not a fin stack in through the vent on the side of the laptop. So whatever heat will come off here and radiate is how it cooled. This one died because it could not stay cool enough, even with its little ultralight mobile CPU. If you were to put the RAM slot on, I actually did this in a video. I don't know if I published it, but I put a RAM slot, populated a RAM slot. The rest of the circuitry is not there to run that one. We'd have to do the same thing as I did with the USB-C. Figure out what all you needed for the RAM and to power up a second RAM slot. And sadly, back then it would be DDR3 for this, I believe. You were locked until they started making more modules on like your upgrade path, especially on DDR2 boards. Say you had 1 RAM slot instead of 2. It would read a 1, a 2, or a 4 gig stick. But you weren't putting no 8 gig stick and jump in up to 8 gigs. But if you had 2 slots, you could get up to 8 by having 2 4s in. So this type of board would be locked at like either 4 or 8 gigabytes, and not because it's locked in the BIOS, but because it has 1 RAM slot. It kind of fucks you on the upgrade path. That's big box store computers for you, and why I dislike them a lot. That's also the same shit what we're dealing with here. Why there's only 1 antenna on there? It's a big box store computer. It wasn't bought directly. You possibly could have bought this model directly from HP, but more than likely it came from a big box store, and shit. But when they cut those corners, I mean, come on, this is a desktop board with 2 RAM slots. What the hell? Don't know if it reads. Guessing that this one would not read 6. It might be in 10th gen Intel. But if there was a limitation to this board, I'm going to guess that it possibly may not read 16 gig sticks or definitely 32 gig sticks of DDR4. I'm guessing it might cap out at 8. Either 8 or 16 would be its cap, but it's not going to read 2 32 gig sticks or 2 64 gigs. And there's definitely going to be a limit there. And so you couldn't not that you would need to max out your RAM with a low level i3 in this type of desktop, but some people do. This is what they start with, and they want to start upgrading, learning how to build stuff. It's easy to get a pre-built and upgrade it little by little. Then after you get familiar with it, move on to building custom built ones. But with these, you get to be fairly limited. All right, what else? Power supply, right? Yes, no? Well, we actually need the power supply. Do we have to put it back in? maybe not. If I'm not mistaken, I think it goes this way. Yeah, that gets our little cable closer. Let's bend this up just a hair and make sure it locks in nice and tight. Oh. Nice scrap, yeah. You haven't seen the size of it. I have a whole closet full of it. I have a guy that's gonna be coming to get it. All I'm doing is jumping in and pulling out all the hard drives that haven't been pulled already with customer data on, to start wiping them and just keeping around for spare parts and whatnot and data recovery, like with boards, BIOS chips, whatever. Not BIOS chips, but a board that I could essentially swap the board and put a BIOS chip onto to recover somebody's data if I need to. But all the rest, yeah, his cases, laptops, everything, he's taking it all. I'm just getting the data out of it, and then boom, having this guy haul it all away. My old guy, who used to be into chemistry, he just quit showing up or quit doing it, or I don't, maybe he blew himself up. I don't know. But I had a guy that was into breaking down the boards with chemicals, melting out, like sizzling it down, like actual chemistry lab process to extract the gold and whatnot. He stopped showing up a few years back. What a mess. What a fine mess. So this cable's going to go there. This one, I think, this one will feed into this. Let's bend it out, give it a little bit of grip. Plug in fan. CPU fan plugged in, very good. Let's grab our other cables here. Little look, little see. What are you? You're for an optical drive that is not being used, but you're not mine. You belong to the cookbooks. In case he does want to, you know what? If I have a slim drive, oh, I don't have the mounting bracket. Son of a bitch. Whatever. I was going to pop an optical drive in this for my accountant, but I don't have the Pavilion mounting bracket for it. And then also this monstrosity, which that would go in, that would come up to the drive. So technically that doesn't go in, but just to contain all this shit, we're going to put it in there just to kind of keep it away from the CPU fan. And any which way, this thing might be moved in the meantime. Right, that's better. What are we missing here? Hold on now. There's only going to be 2 going in. What the hell? 2? And then I need to swap the hard drives out. I can do that at a later point. I'm just trying to think. So we're going to have 1. one. We got another cable, one that we forgot. Well, we'll plug him in too. He's still got the factory bend on him, so he's good. Let's lift this back up. I know what the other screws were from. The other HP. It got a hard drive removed, so which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and leaves one left over. They were one step apart from each other. So these 4 that I would normally not have left go to the old computer. Okay, fair enough. Let's get this guy in here. Why am I thinking there should be 2? Oh, there is 2. It goes down here. Okay, when that cage moves out of the way, I'll show you after we attach it up here. Last screw goes there. And then those other 4 have to be for the hard drive. From the first of my accountant's computers. There we go. What else? Should get a nice matchup when throwing this on. And we don't. The port is slightly, it's because of the board. The board was heated up, so we're going to have to because of heating that up, we're going to have to prop it up. We're going to use a rubber foot. Too much gusto on that. I think do we have a stick down pyramid? That would be nice. That's what we wanted. All right. We got to go back in. And as I said, I already have to pull the SSD. So the heat, and that can show you whenever you're prying down on something with heat in it, it can flex the PCB. What we're going to do is undo the screw on this front part a little, wedge this rubber under there, then clamp it back down. It should flex it back up into place. By morning, that'll be enough of a slow flexing process to pull this and remove it. So I think I'll stop assembly here. Let's see how the thing fits. All right. We can actually put this screw back in. Nothing slides in there. Just this cage that needs held in place. Let's see how the front fits now, if it's going to line up the Type-C port and everything. Would you believe that we got to move it just a hair? Well, I don't know about you. It's not perfect, but it is going to flex up slightly overnight. That's lined up enough. Everything's accessible. The case is snapped on. I think we can stop her there, you know? Oh, gotta sleep. Catch up later. Good night, Mr. Chris. Sorry I didn't catch that when you were rattling off in chat. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here as well, too. Like I said, the only thing I'd do is pull the SSD, but what I'm gonna do is, one, we're gonna assemble this how it should be. So it's gonna act as a normal functioning computer, just without my client's hard drive in it. So sides going on, everything's going to be the same. We're going to ramp it up and run some stress testing on it. I know it don't have a GPU, but I want the USB-C to get good and hot, and I want that test to be running from the USB-C port. So I want to make sure that it's good. So I'll let that test probably run till morning, and yeah, then I can swap out the hard drive, pull that rubber foot, and see if the case lines up to where it needs to be. Hell, let's pop some stuff back in this, get it booted up. Back is working fine. Grab some HDMI, power cable. Power's good. Power's on. Let's see that the capture card got it. It did. And ideally it's not going to be standing up like it should be, but these can work on their side or standing up. I just want to see that it's going to work how it needs to for an extended period of time. Let's grab some USB-C. We're going to plug into the front. Once we get, what do we need open? Windows Explorer. My stupid little flashy icons are covering it. So we'll take and plug this in. And there's our USB-C. Also, while we're here, I want to go to the desktop. And I'm going to delete these. That way we know we're not running from the desktop. And let's go back. Where? It's got to be in the upper left corner. Oh, got it first grab. I have a camera there. So whatever you see is what I'm seeing. OBS does not discriminate. If there's actually something covering it, there's something covering it. So I grabbed that first try. Good to go. All right. This PC, extra data C, and that is this drive that I plugged in. So we'll just stay here on this PC. Notice we unplugged it. Let's go ahead and plug it back in. There it is. And let's go in stress test. What can we run from this? Superposition is already on the computer. Cinebench. This is going to install as well. What test can I run from this? You know what? I don't know. Movie? Do we play a movie from the drive? Where's my keys? Anybody has any ideas of a test? Yeah, Windows 11, 100%. Let me go there. I'm gonna jump over to my KVM screen real quick. Maybe. Well, apparently now we gotta fuck this thing. We're going straight into the monitor. HDMI KVM can be real picky sometimes, and it comes up with goopy ass resolutions. Let me find something here. I have a bunch of client data on this, like first and last names, which why I wanted to bump it over to the KVM. Where is what I'm looking for? You know what? That'll work. Let's copy and paste that into videos. Yeah, I don't know. I think we can wrap it up there, though. Or not videos. I want to put it over on my Type C drive and play a movie on repeat from there. If anything, that's kind of silly because we're going to heat up the drive, but whatever. It is what it is. It's 1080 Blu-ray rip. All right. And where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? All right, let's plug this back into number one. Let me get my KVM plugged back in. Where you at? Right there. The simple thing. Green. Is green the way to go? No, blue. All right. And plugging into the capture card, we'll pop it back up. Did we die? Oh, hold on. Okay, so that was just the frozen view of it. That wasn't the actual live view of it. Where is it? All right, we're back. I was like, why is nothing working? We're on the frozen view? No, this is not happening. This is nuts. All right. Extra data. Unplugged and plugging. And for the final bit, let's see what else do I have on here. Obviously can't take and play a movie over the internet, a copyrighted one anyway. But we can plug in. So let's do that. Plug in our Type-C. And we're going to throw a movie on. So let's end it there. We'll pop on over this one actually. Go back, start it, and go there. I was going to say, watch that be feeding audio into the stream. I'm going to have to check my sources quick. I don't want to send copyrighted audio out. But yeah, I'll pop back on that and make sure that it is definitely, we're going to throw that on repeat. Prevent the thing from sleeping. And hopefully it's playing when I get back here in the morning. But yeah, I think that's about it. We can end the stream here successfully. That was a bit of a repair. Windows 11. Don't worry. Yeah, I do worry, man. I'm not trying to have any shit like that happen. It's stupid, man. The internet is going, not even the internet, the world's going to a much dumber place. You know? Like a much dumber place than it need be most of the time. Obviously, people do shit for clicks and whatnot, but just overall, yeah, it's people are freaking weird. But I understand it, you know. People like money, and stirring shit up on the internet. Yeah, that's how people get money. Now McDonald's went up in price. It's a $2 menu now. You know. Oh. All right, people, I gotta clean this shit up and get out of here. But I'm not gonna make anybody suffer through that. Thank you for hanging out, Mr. Chris. Even though you're sleeping, you can catch up on the last couple minutes. Fernando, if you made it here, and purchase. I don't know how to say. That's a lot of U's and S's, buddy. Yes, good night. Thank you for hanging out. Much appreciated. Oh shit, I can't end it from that computer. I gotta go over to my main one. Adios, people. Have a good evening. Good morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are. We'll see you then.